Hello, Youest You family. I, as always, just feel blessed to be here with you, to be in your earbuds, to be part of your journey in truly becoming and living out your Youest You. I'm really, really excited to introduce my dear friend and guest today, Gina Casbarro. I want to tell you about Gina, and I really think you're going to love this conversation. One of the things I love about Gina is her authenticity, her vulnerability, her huge heart. And she's a wise gal. She is someone who, I'm going to just say it, old soul, who has a lot of great wisdom to share. So let me tell you about Gina. Gina Casbarro is a certified life designer coach and feng shui expert who empowers her clients to blaze their own path and design the life and space of their dreams. Gina's passions for coaching began as a manager at Lululemon. She spent more than 8 years there coaching hundreds of people to develop as leaders and to crush their goals. Her love of nature, symbolism, and intuition led her to feng shui. She now weaves these passions together to support her clients in aligning their mindset, their lifestyle, and their environment with their truest goals and values. I want to also say that Gina hosts the podcast, Follow Your Spark, which is an awesome show. And she began this on a year-long road trip around the US and beyond, started interviewing people all over the world on what it looks like to create a life that they love. I love that and love her show. With all of her incredible coaching and leadership experience, Gina is also going to be the lead mentor coach for my Life Designer Coach Academy certification program. And Gina, I'm just so excited to have you here. I love anytime we get together, it's like a mind-blowing conversation. So thank you, my friend, for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. I can't wait to dive into all the things.
All right. Well, I think one of the questions I know I've gotten a lot, and I'm curious if you've gotten as well. I know you started in the corporate world. You were with Lululemon. I used to see you there quite often, and you decided to shift gears, both in feng shui but also with coaching. I want to get a sense from you, like maybe just to start for a minute, what made you decide to specifically get into coaching? Why did you decide to leave a steady job with benefits, where people loved you, to get into coaching? What even made you decide to do that?
Yeah, I think rewinding back even from like high school, college days, I think my whole life I've been following just what felt like it resonated with me and what sparked my curiosities or interests or passions. And from a very young age, I was always into personal development, even though I probably wouldn't have called it personal development, as a kid. But growing up, like I had a lot of mind drama. I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of insecurities. I had a lot of other things going on in my brain that caused a lot of suffering. And I was always looking for tools, whether from books or experiences or yoga or all these different things to alleviate what was going on. And I was always really curious about psychology. I debated over, becoming a psychologist, but I ended up majoring in advertising because, again, that kind of love for creativity and symbolism and also the psychological side of it. So I feel like as I got older, I just kept kind of taking one step that led to the next, that led to the next, pursuing these kinds of interests. And Lululemon is a company all about personal growth and leadership and goal setting. And I really got to dive deep into so many different tools through that company. And after working for them for 8+ years, I realized my favorite part of my job was that personal development piece, more so than running stores or anything else like that. So I just knew it was time to put all of my time and energy towards that path. And I had gotten so much over the years from all the different tools that I had been experiencing and collecting myself, whether from working with my own coaches or all different kinds of personal development work. And I just knew like, that's what I'm here to do. So coaching felt like the next path, the next iteration of that path that really called to me and allowed me to focus all of the skills and all the things I've been learning over the years into that one purpose and intention.
I love, just to go back for a minute, the wording you used around that mind trauma. I was like, yeah, I know what that's like. And I'm guessing for you, my listener, you probably understand mind trauma and how that can be so detrimental. And I'm remembering, and I didn't even say this in the intro, but you and I met through a pretty intense personal development program. For those who know Landmark Education, we had done the self-expression leadership program. We had coached. Anyhow, I just remember, even where you were there and what you have worked through in yourself is incredible. And for me, just as an observer, and this is something that I think is just one of the reasons this work is so important, especially in coaching, is what I've seen is you really learn how to tune into your own inner wisdom and intuition, and to trust yourself wholeheartedly
Yes.
in everything. And anyhow, we could go on and on. This could just be like me reflecting how awesome, no, and how beautiful it is to see that shift over the years. So when you decided to make that shift, maybe share a little bit, because I know, it's iterated, and I think to just give a sense, like, what the heck does it even look like today to coach?
Yeah. So a few years ago, when I was still a store manager for Lululemon and was beginning to think like, okay, I want to, pursue my own business. I want to do work in this personal development world. The first iteration of that was feng shui. And I had become certified and was really passionate about that and doing different feng shui consultations. And as I got into that work, it again became really clear that just working with people's environments was not enough for me personally, when what was most important to me was sparking transformation in people's entire lives. And without also working with people on their mindset and their lifestyle and their habits, it wasn't the work that I wanted to really get up to in the world. So I started, extending those consultations and doing more coaching. And I had been trained as a coach through Lululemon and through the personal development world that, Julie just talked about. And I wanted to improve those skills even more. So that's when, Julie had created her program, and I started thinking about doing that certification to really add to the skills that I already had. And it just felt like a really natural boost to increase, my ability to do that work that I was already so passionate about. So I went through that certification program. And then I think that was in 2020. So now it's 2023. So about 2 years ago. So over the next couple years, started experimenting with different services and different lengths of packages, and finally came to this sweet spot, which is the work that I do now, being able to work with people over the course of 6 months. We do coaching and feng shui. We get into their whole life, and we spark massive transformation across all areas of people's lives. And it came from different experimenting and exploring of how to use the skills that I already had in the way that I could, offer the most value. And that wasn't something anyone else could discover for me. It was something that really came through that experimentation, and I'm sure is going to continue to evolve. And if we were to have a conversation a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, the way that I offer those services might look a little different. And I would imagine I will still be on the same path and doing the same type of work that I'm doing now.
Well, I love, you're also pinpointing, I think, to the idea that we're meant to grow and change and iterate. I know both of us love nature and get a lot of wisdom from nature, and there's nothing stagnant, right? If you look outside, nothing is the same. So I love that about you. I mean, I've watched, I think we've known each other almost 8 years, just more actually, but to see you really, really keep growing and iterating, to me, that's each of us taking on ourselves, our own consciousness. That to me is the most important part. Whether someone becomes a coach or not, just literally being a human on the planet that it wants to add more light and healing and ability to shift your own mindset and that of others. You do that work, Gina. And I think it's so interesting what I've seen with the Life Designer Coach Academy is a lot of people come in who have coaching already, And that's what I remember when we talked about it, and I was like, okay, you've actually done a lot of training. Like, are you sure you want to, are you going to do this? And how did that help you, maybe even on a personal level? I'm just curious because I know for some, yes, it's the coaching skills, refining it, but for others, it's also the internal work.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. When I was trained as a coach through Lululemon, I was trained in this kind of like team setting. So how to develop teams, how to do goal setting with teams, leadership development. And while I did, work with the people on my team kind of in a one-on-one way through, different touch points throughout the year and everything else, it wasn't the same as running my own business as a coach. So being able to go through a structured program and really talk through and get the practice of, okay, standing in that identity of like, I am a life coach. This is the work that I'm doing. I have structured tools I can go to and just have more clarity around how to use those tools in this new way with clients in a new setting was really helpful. And obviously the program itself is more of that personal development, because anytime you're putting yourself in a new situation of learning something new, of being uncomfortable, like inside of the program, part of what we do is pro bono coaching. So coaching people, and that's something that I hadn't done in that kind of capacity. So doing something for the first time is you're always going to rub up against things. The mind is always going to come back with the different whispers and the different things it has to say and everything else. So being able to use that program as, just like a training ground, again, to expand into my next level was really helpful. And of course, there was new tools and new nuggets and things that I hadn't learned already, because there's always more to learn. I'm always going to continue to add to my skill set, whether it's new coaching modalities or other techniques that I'm going to weave into my practice. I think it's really important that we are always learning and growing ourselves. If I'm coaching people, I'm always going to have my own coach and be working through my own things so that I can be guiding people from experience. And like, I'm right there in the ring with you doing my own stuff. So I think that's a big part of it.
I love that you shared that. And this is one of the reasons I'm like, you need to be the mentor, the lead mentor coach of this next cohort. We're, shifting it a little bit, where I'm going to be bringing in some masterful coaches. And I have to say, I agree with you 100%, and I'm going to say this for anyone listening who is a coach or might want to be one or doesn't want to be one, regardless, I just really, really invite you to really take on what Gina's saying, what you're saying, Gina, about it's an ongoing growth process. I mean, I know you've done a lot of other inner work and learning. And one of the areas that I know you've been focusing on is around intuition and focusing, we've learned intuition means inner teacher. So tuning into your inner teacher. I have to say, Gina and I pulled some cards before this conversation because that's how we roll. And it was totally around this, right? Like trusting your inner teacher, trusting yourself. You have what you need. Maybe share for a moment, because I know that is part of also your leaving, to travel around the US and beyond for a year. And I know we focus a lot of that in Life Designer as well, but I'm curious, in addition to that, how have you been focusing on trusting your intuition?
Oh my gosh, it's huge. And it's something that I can really say over the last 5 years, I have like a night and day relationship to my intuition. Like 5 years ago, it was a struggle to make decisions. I second guessed everything, whether it was relationships to next steps in my career or business or my life, like literally just everything. I would ask a million people what to do. I would, try to read books. I would go to all these external sources to try to make choices for my life. And over the last 5 years, I've been doing a lot of work to consciously and intentionally build this muscle of intuition to be able to trust myself in my choices and own them, because ultimately, like, there is no right choice in life or business or anything else. There is no right choice. There isn't, like, I could never tell you what's the right choice for you. It just doesn't exist. So to be able to tune into your own inner wisdom to assess, okay, this feels like a yes for me right now. I'm going to pursue this path. And as I pursue this path, I'm going to own it. And I'm not going to second guess it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I'm going to commit to this path that I'm on, and to be able to learn whatever there is for me to learn on that path and then go from there. And that doesn't mean that 6 months from now, I might not make a new choice, or a year from now, make a new choice. That's going to happen. But to be able to let go of trying to find the one right way, because there is no one right way. And it's just about taking the step that feels the most aligned in this moment and being able to trust that. And one thing that I will say that's big about intuition, and we're talking about, Julie's life coaching program and everything else, that the answer is not always take another course, right? Do another course, get another certification. Sometimes that can be a really beautiful next step. And it's not always, because if we're always looking for some external thing to qualify us or give us the answers, it's always going to be this searching for something external versus be able to source that inside of yourself. So even on my own journey as like building a business, there were definitely moments at the beginning that I just felt like, oh, I need another coach. I need another certification. I need another this. I need another that, versus thinking I have what I need right now to run my business, to build, to grow, and I can always add. So in 2020, Julie's program was like the one add for me. And then the next year it was something else. And the next year it was something else. And not using that as an excuse of, oh, I need that next thing to grow. It's like, no, I can use whatever I have now, and I can continue to build on that. But to be able to trust, to be resourceful, to trust yourself, your own brain, your own inner wisdom, your own intuition to guide you, whether that's with your clients or in your own life. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, well said. It's actually one of the reasons I started this program, because I've been teaching at Georgetown for years in their coaching program, health and wellness focus. But when I got this download, I mean, literally, I think my story. I woke up in the beginning of the pandemic. I literally woke up and heard a voice that was like, you must start a certification like now. I was like, you got to be kidding me. What? I mean, I've been teaching a long time. I know the material, but I thought, what? And I kept hearing, you need to add in intuition. You need to, and it's a huge thing. Absolutely. Like, above all, and this is for my listeners, for you listening, like for anything. And I know you do this, Gina, in life. And I know this is something that's so important. You've got to learn how to tap in and listen and tune in. And it's there for all of us. This is not like, some of us have a little more developed intuition because we spent time on it. That's it. It is a birthright. We all have this access. Sometimes you might hear it, you might see it, you might feel it. I have a quiz on this actually to see what is your type of intuitive connection, but we have this ability. And I think what I've seen with you is you're trusting that. I was remembering years ago, and I might have coached 2 years ago on something, and I was like, oh my God, I remember, like, you totally shifted that because you can trust yourself. And that is something I teach. It is something I feel very, very strongly. And it's something that as a coach, you want to honor that in the other person. And so, that component of trusting yourself and your intuition is huge. I love what you said though. Sometimes it's not taking the course or taking the extra thing. It might be, let me sit still and resource and access what I've got within me. Let me do some free writing, some intuitive writing, and just see, like, maybe actually the best thing I could do is just to be where I am and to apply. And I know for you having taken a lot of different courses and now really applying what you've learned. I mean, it's been beautiful to watch you step in with your podcast, your coaching, what you're up to. To me, that's the gift, because when we're tuned into that inner teacher, then we are accessing our Youest we, our, your Youest you. And I've seen that with you. It's incredible.
Thank you.
I am curious because one of the things that comes up a lot for entrepreneurs that are getting out there, for new coaches, anyone that's, putting themselves out there is this aspect of confidence and worthiness. And we'll get into the money piece because I do want to talk about, unless you're doing this totally pro bono and for free, I really don't know anyone doing that unless it's like I actually did teach someone at Georgetown who's in their 70s. This is her actual tithing. It's one out of like hundreds, but most of us, it's part of our purpose and dharma and career. But I want to talk about worthiness. I want to talk about visibility, because I know that's something that you've embraced and that you've looked at. Just how has that, talk about your journey around stepping into greater visibility and worthiness?
Yeah. I think at the beginning, I think it's something that I thought maybe like people had or they didn't. Like you either had confidence or you didn't, or you like believed in yourself or you didn't. And I saw these people who like looked like and seemed to embody this sense of confidence and belief and were having these flourishing businesses. And I just felt so far away from that. And what I realized is that confidence, that belief, it's a muscle to build. And the way that you build that is by reinforcing to your brain and finding within yourself, why am I capable of this? And actually journaling on all the reasons why I am capable, I am educated enough, I am gifted enough, I am experienced enough. What's all the value that I bring? Journaling on all of that again and again and again. Why is the offer that why is my 6-month offer the most valuable thing I could possibly offer? Why is it a no-brainer? Why is the price that I'm offering this at like a total steal? What is all the value that people are going to receive from the work that we do together? And it's not something that just you can journal on once and then like your mind is totally transformed. That's not how it happened for me anyways. And it's being able to reinforce every single day and build that belief muscle every single day. And when the brain comes back with, oh no, like you can't do this, like you're not qualified, you're not able, you're not enough, you're not whatever, being able to look and see like, okay, I hear that thought. And I'm going to choose to reinforce this other thought instead. And it's not like saying an affirmation that you don't believe of like, I'm a $100,000 business coach, and I'm a this and I'm a that, whatever. Like it's being able to not enforce beliefs, but reprogram beliefs that your mind can actually grab onto, whether it's, I'm learning and growing every single day. I'm exactly where I need to be in my life and my business. I have so much value to give. I have all the experience, talents, gifts I need right now to serve my clients, and I'm continuously learning every single day. These are rolling off my tongue because I've said them 10,000 times. And being able to do that repeatedly and not get discouraged from one day to the next. And I think I've realized this, especially this year, how impatient I had been at the beginning, especially in like the first couple years, and thinking that just seeing online all the time of like advertisements of like, here's how to get, $100,000 business in 6 weeks or something, whatever. And just making myself believe that if I didn't achieve this massive level of success in year 1, then that meant I was a failure. It was never going to happen for me. Like my business has steadily grown over the past 4 years. It's doubled in my income has doubled every single year for the past 4 years. And it's still not like 0 to 100,000 in year 1. And if I continue to double my business every single year for the next 5 years, I will have a massive business in 5 years. And being able to be okay with my pace and not judge that against anyone else's pace, and to know that I am building and growing every single day, and to find ways to feel valuable, successful, abundant, capable, that are not tied to how much money I'm generating, how many clients I have, because really it's not that will ever lead to you feeling that way anyways. I could be making $1 million a year and still feel worthless. I've heard people making massive amounts of money and still unhappy, insecure, burnt out, etc. So it's about being able to feel how you want to feel now without needing external results to validate you. And I think that has been the biggest work for myself on this entrepreneurial journey. And I definitely feel like I've been making progress, and I feel like now probably more just at peace in my journey than I've been definitely at the beginning, and just being able to enjoy it more and trust the process unfolding and trust the seeds that I'm planting, and know that a seed that I plant today isn't going to sprout and bear fruit tomorrow, and to not expect it to move at this massive pace, but to be patient and grateful and joyful along the way.
All right, I'm pausing just for a minute. I promise. I just want to let you know, in case you weren't aware, that I am just opening the doors now to my 9th cohort of the Life Designer Coach Academy. It's my premier coaching certification program. I have had students from all over the globe, lawyers, teachers, therapists, healers, single moms, coaches who want to refine their skills. I've had many, many coaches come through it, because what I'm going to do is infuse all of the learning I've had getting a master's degree in health and wellness coaching, becoming a certified exchange facilitator, all of my healing background with heart math and other mindfulness practices. And I weave in the positive psychology and the intuitive practices and the mind-body science. And I will teach you my proprietary sacred coach approach, as well as the tools, the practices, the techniques that I've been using over a decade, not just with myself, but with hundreds of clients and leaders from all over the globe. So if you would like to truly learn how to be your Youest you, and to help other amazing individuals become empowered to be their Youest you, I really encourage you to look into this program. Even if you're not sure that you want to be a coach, or you are one and you want to refine those skills, I'm telling you, this is a powerful personal growth program. You will see so many of my graduates' thoughts and testimonials and responses if you go to juliereisler.com/certification. Again, juliereisler.com/certification. We'll have the link below. If you have any questions, let me know, but I would be honored to have you in this next cohort and to help you truly actualize your Youest you, and to help others around the world to do the same. This is how we shift consciousness, my friend. Okay, back to the podcast. There's so much that you just said there. I'm like, I think the triggers of seeing other people in these advertisements and things like, grow your business 10x in 6 weeks. And I'm like, that is actually a horrible idea, because for many of us, especially if you're highly sensitive or empath, or you just want to manage your energy, I know for me, doesn't work well. And I love what you said about honoring your pacing. I've seen you do that. And, it's so great, because what you're talking about, this is what a good coach does for other people, is to help shift beliefs, to help, and not just find affirmations can work. But like you said, it's not just, I'm just going to say that I'm a successful coach. No. It's got to be, I love what you were saying. For me, it's a huge focus on, I am here to connect to the divine and to be a mouthpiece, an emissary of that. What that is, I just let that roll. Defining success, does it have to be the amount of followers on Instagram? Honestly, I would highly recommend not making that your metric necessarily, or at least around worthiness and around how you feel. And the thing that I'm hearing, Gina, most important, is this sense of peace and serenity. And, the work that you've been doing within and on yourself around that, to cultivate that peace and serenity. I really believe, I've known many, many people. Look, it's wonderful to be prosperous and abundant. I really think, especially for women, yes, men too, but especially for women, it makes a big difference when we have our own security and safety and grounding and abundance to be able to support ourselves. And that's all important. Yet the things that are the most important are those things that are not things, which I'm hearing from you. I'm like, I know many people with multi 7-figure businesses that are miserable. So it's not just the money. It's that inside, that inner peace and serenity. And I think what you said, going back to trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, that's what I've seen. Really, I've seen you do. It's something I know I'm constantly working on as well.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot about pressure too. And, starting a business, while some people maybe have a really magical, easy experience, it also can take a lot of work and time and commitment and dedication, and goes back to that, what we were talking about earlier, of like choosing that path and being willing to give it time, and know that day one, you might not be making a sustainable income. And how can you take pressure off of yourself, whether that's working part-time somewhere. Like at the beginning, I was still working part-time for Lululemon and building my business at the same time. And, now I'm at a place where I can be solely sustained from my business income. And I also choose to live in a way that is not super extravagant and like spending tons of money. And I make other conscious choices so that I am not in a state of desperation or pressure, because I think when you're putting that pressure on your business, that you like need it to be a certain level right now, especially at the beginning of building a business, I feel like that can be really not supportive to growth, like not make it any easier for you to grow your business, versus if you create an environment that you feel calm and you feel like you can be committed and patient and take it one step at a time and know you're building it, growing, and sustain yourself. Do what you need to do to sustain yourself, whether that's another part-time job or a slow transition or whatever it is. And just, think and ask yourself, like, how much time and energy are you willing to pour into this? If starting your coaching business is something that is important to you, and not putting undue pressure on yourself.
I really appreciate that you just brought up both patience and pressure, because I think they go together. I think they're like PB and J. Like if you're impatient, I also fall into I know we're both fire signs, I'm just saying, into the impatience. I've been there, especially if you really love your vision, you love this work. It can be like, I want to do this. I want to help so many people. And there's an actual, sometimes it takes time to grow. And then the pressure, watch the pressure you're putting on yourself. I think I'm so glad you brought that up. And, the thing I'll say too, because you mentioned this and I've seen this, especially with this work, because it's just blossoming. I mean, I know so many people these days who also might have been psychology or, in that field and didn't become a therapist. Actually, we've had a lot of therapists become coaches as well. I see a ton of crossover. But the thing to remember, and I heard you saying this, for some, it's a side thing. It's a side gig. It's you might be a stay-at-home mom and you want to do this a little bit on the side. We have a student who signed up early, who we both know, who's going to be working with parents, with moms, Julie, who wants to, still do the work she's doing. She has her children and she wants to do this on the side. So you can make it however you want to. I just think what you're saying about the pressure piece is so important, Gina. I know, I mean, I'm just going to call myself out. That is one of the things I've had to be very careful of. I had a back incident last year, about a year ago. And when I did some intuitive journaling with my spine, which might sound funny, but seriously, I had a dialogue with my back and I was like, what the hell is going on here? What is happening? And I heard that part of me say, you're putting too much pressure on me. And it showed up as a lower back herniation. And I got to be honest, I looked and I love those questions, which is a huge part of coaching, is those powerful questions, but asking yourself, okay, where am I putting too much pressure on myself? What realistically is the energy and time I have? I think those questions, I'm going to make note in the show notes, because you had some amazing questions that you asked earlier that I think can help anyone listening, whether or not you want to become a coach or you're even thinking about it. These are questions to ask yourself regardless. Like I would highly recommend even the question you said earlier, like, why am I capable of this? Which is such a great, positively framed question, right? And what are the values that I bring? I mean, these questions are like gold regardless. So yeah, really important. I'm glad I'm with you and vibing with the patience and the pressure. I do think they go together. I am curious because we're now I do want to talk about money and the fact that, I always say, like, if you go to your therapist or to an acupuncturist and they don't charge you, I would actually run. I would actually not go back. I would be like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with you that you're not charging me? This is very odd. And I don't feel very comfortable unless it was something, that we had discussed or some sort of special. But it's important to charge for the services. And I'm curious when it comes to money blocks or any kind of mindset work around money and charging. I don't know. Do you have any experience around that and working through that?
Yeah, one thing that I've been learning the past year or so is where can I create less drama for myself? So if I used to charge one price and I was getting clients at that price, and I don't have a percentage of like how many people would say yes, how many people would say no, but I was getting clients at that price. And when I was thinking about my offers moving forward, or my one offer moving forward, and thinking about, okay, what would make this a no-brainer? What would alleviate any like mind drama I have? Because I think one big thing is like, how sold are you on the value of your offer, on why you're choosing the price point that you're choosing, on why you're choosing the time frame that you're choosing. And the more sold you yourself can be around why what you're offering is just like the most valuable thing you could possibly put out there, the easier it will be to sign up clients and to have clients say yes. Because ultimately, the more confident you are, like that's what's going to translate. And that's what I think can also help build that money mindset. So right now, honestly, from when I started 2 years ago or so, and different packages I was offering, but I lowered my prices a little bit because that just eliminated mind drama for me. And I'm now selling that package at such a high rate. Most people that, I end up, having a conversation about my services end up saying yes, because I am just so confident in what I offer. And as more people say yes at that rate, then I will be able to expand and increase my prices so that that price feels like a no-brainer to me. And I can begin to just slowly increase my money mindset and my abundance mindset and what I believe myself to be worth, my packages to be worth, and let that grow and expand as I grow and expand. So if you're starting out day one and you're trying to figure out what price to value your prices at, if you choose a price that you're like, oh my God, no one would ever say yes to this, I'm like so nervous about this, what would be a price that would feel more comfortable? And not that you have to, I'm not saying give it away for free. I'm not saying undervalue yourself, but I'm saying you don't always have to, again, go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Same with belief. You don't have to, if you have trouble valuing your service at $50 an hour, and then you try to sell it at $200 an hour, that's going to be, could feel like a big jump. So instead you could increase it from 50 to 75 and see, okay, do I feel comfortable asking for $75 an hour? Do I feel comfortable asking for $100 an hour? And slowly build that mindset muscle, like any other mindset muscle you're building. And again, going back to that work of why is this price like so worth it? And I'm right now just focused on how can I over deliver what I'm offering so that I just provide so much value that, like I said, for people to say yes to me in this work feels like a no-brainer, because I am just so sold on how valuable I am and my offer is and my services are. So I think that's what's helped me the most in increasing my money mindset. And the more people say yes to me at that level I'm comfortable at, the more I can expand and expand and expand. So that's what's helped me the most. And I'm looking at a picture on my wall that my kind of theme for this year is centered expansion. And it goes back to that feeling of patience. Like when it comes to everything, I know I'm growing and expanding. I'm not going to put pressure to have this supernova happen, but to be slowly and consciously and intentionally expanding in all areas of my life, including that money mindset piece.
Reminds me of, I didn't read the whole book, Atomic Habits, but it talks about this idea of just even a little 1% expansion in everything every day, little tiny micro expansion. I love that focus. I think what I'm also hearing as well underneath that is this is something, again, this is where you tune into your energy, your body, your intuition, what feels right to you. It can change. It will change. Definitely, I can tell you where I started over a decade ago is not where I am today. We iterate, we grow, especially when you're doing the work on yourself, and I've seen this as well, the importance of hiring a coach, because then you know the value of having a coach. That's one of the reasons in this program that we're going to be doing. I know you as the head mentor coach, Gina, we talked about this. Every mentor coach is going to be doing coaching sessions with that's baked into this pricing. And I recommend more than that, but it's really important, working with someone else to know the value of this work there's nothing like it, as well as coaching and getting out there and seeing, like you said, you've probably seen, I know I've had so many transformations, miracles, people that are changing and designing their life literally in new ways. It's like, I know this works. And that builds that confidence, which is what I'm trying to say.
And that's a good reminder, and something that when I was in your coach certification training, I had never paid for a one-on-one coach myself. I had paid for personal development programs. I had paid for different experiences. So I thought, if I'm going to be out here selling my services as a coach, I should value working with someone as a coach. So that was when I was in your coach certification program. I also hired my own coach for 6 months to, again, really see, okay, like what is possible with this work? How can I take it even further so that I value, you got to value what you're selling, right? So if you're a coach and you're out there selling coaching and never paid for a coach, it's a question to ask yourself, why? Do you value the service that you're offering? And if not, noticing what are your own money blocks and the things that are coming up for you that make you hesitant to invest in, whether it's a long-term coach or a price point or something else. And you uncovering where you're stopped will help you be able to coach others through their objections when that comes up, when you're out there having consultations and offering your services, etc. So to be able to just notice and get curious of, like, okay, what's missing here? Do I not believe in this product? Do I not believe in myself? Do I not believe in the coach or practitioner that I'm going to work with? And to, again, do that work of uncovering what those thoughts are, and then asking yourself, okay, how do I want to feel when I'm making this investment? I want to feel confident. I want to feel optimistic. I want to feel whatever. And then what are the thoughts that are going to support how you want to feel about making that investment, and starting to tell yourself those thoughts about yourself, as well as whatever investments you might want to be making in your life. So that is definitely a big piece. And the other thing that just came to mind, I just listened to a podcast recently, and, obviously as a feng shui consultant, I care about, or I see the value in what you surround yourself with. And I've been even more conscious lately of the clothes that I'm wearing, as well as the artwork on my walls and the frames that my pictures are framed in and the cups I'm drinking out of and whatever, and thinking about, okay, this person that I see myself becoming in the next 3 years, 5 years, like, what would she be wearing? What would her room look like? What would her surroundings look like? And surrounding myself with those things now, so that I can continue to feel and embody and see myself as the person that I already am, and, I'm just catching up with in this lifetime.
Stepping into. Well, and I forgot to mention, I don't know, 5 years ago, Gina was the one who helped me to take where I am right now, this loft in our room, to create this really beautiful workspace and play space and studio. Like you really helped. And it's so funny. I'm laughing because I literally just switched out. I was like, I need
I
to have the
saw.
moon. I need the moon. I need some love. I got a little love
Yeah.
sign. I got my birds who got
Yeah.
my back. I've got fire element. I mean, no, I totally love what you're saying. That whole really thinking about who are you stepping into and how can you create the environment. And that's, I know, one of the areas you're really experienced and expert at as well. I am curious in terms of your like what's next, both excitement or what's on the horizon. Obviously, you're going to be mentor coaching. I'm so excited to have you. Like anything about that, and then also for you, just what I know you talked about expansion, but what's exciting for you as a coach, as somebody who really wants to make an impact in the world.
Yeah. So one thing I've been asking the universe recently is like, okay, universe, I am here to spark transformation, like lead me to whatever experiences, people, opportunities that I can do that. And really being open to what that could look like. And one thing recently, I just led my first retreat in Costa Rica in January, that was something that I hadn't predicted or planned or like put on my vision board. It was something that a previous client invited me to collaborate with her. And I got to lead all the personal development sessions for this week-long retreat in Costa Rica. She did all the yoga. So her and I are going to be leading another retreat in Cambridge, Maryland in October 2023. So I'm excited about that. And in 2022, I had started doing these coaching mindfulness sessions for a group of high school teachers. So they hired me back, and now I'm going to be doing all in-person sessions for them in 2023. So this Friday, I go to the high school for the first time and will be able to offer these skills to that community. And just different things like that are starting to show up in other businesses and environments and just things that I hadn't necessarily been on my radar before or thought to pursue. And it's really coming from not being attached to how I am offering this work in the world and being open to that showing up in different ways. And of course, I'm still working with my one-on-one coaching clients, and all these other opportunities are popping up. And it's just been really fun. And I think that stepping into that energy of surrender, intuition, trust is letting me be open to these other opportunities that are crossing my path.
Gorgeous. Love the reminder of just being unattached, surrendering. Oh my gosh, these like I have these words. I have a whiteboard that's supposed to be for like goals, and instead it's all like words and quotes. And I'm like, yep, those are right there. Such good reminders. And I have to say, I'm so honored. I'm so excited to have you as a mentor coach as well and part of what you're doing. I just know there's nothing like having somebody that can hold that space, who's been through it, that can really see your best. And I know you're so skilled at that.
Yes. And I didn't say that. Like, I am so excited to be able to collaborate with you in this way. And it's something that from Lululemon, I got to facilitate to groups all the time and, be developing my team and everything else. And it feels like I'll be able to get back into that energy a little bit, both with the coaches in our community and all the people that come through. So I'm really excited to be able to flex those muscles and loop back in just different skills and experiences I've had over the years. So yeah, I feel like 2023 is a year for collaborations and just fluidity and exploration and experimenting. So I love it. I'm so excited for this next cohort to start.
So cool, Gina. And this is the thing. Thank you. And I'm like honored. And it's just been really beautiful. This to me is the power of this work, right? Like it can go into and seep into every crevice area of life. It doesn't just have to be one-on-one coaching. What you just explained, you are using your skills. And I love that intention of just how can I be of service and unattachment to where that shows up. That's one of the beauties in my mind, my heart of work of coaching. You can literally show up and help teachers in a high school, how to connect in, how to ask deep questions, how to be more still, doing the retreats, which is awesome. I'm so excited for you about that. I know we talked about it. Just, what I'm hearing from you is this great ability to surrender, trust, have faith and to show up to be of service. To me, that is kind of the point of being here on this planet is like, how can we tap into our greatest gifts? And you're such an example of that. And as you know, I know you sometimes listen. I'm curious. My last question is always, if there was something I didn't ask you or we didn't share about, if there might be a heart flare or something that is just there for you that you want to share, a word of wisdom and insight, reflection, anything that's kind of just still there that you wanted to share with the beautiful community.
What's coming up right now is that if there's something about yourself or your journey or your life that you feel like you're trying to get past or like grow and expand from, and it's not happening like right now in this moment, to trust and believe that you can get there, you are getting there, you are on your path, like you are exactly where you're meant to be in your life, and whatever you're experiencing right now can be fuel and fertilizer to help you. I'm just thinking about from 25 to 35, like how I've grown and expanded in that 10-year time frame. And I'm sure like when I'm 45, like looking back to where I am now, I'm going to be mind blown about what has happened in these past 10 years. So to just trust yourself and your ability to grow and evolve and transform, and have patience and kindness and compassion for yourself for wherever you're at right now.
Mm. You're watching this, we're doing the little heart motion. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Yes, and so it is. And so it is. Gina, thank you so much. I will make sure for everyone listening, I'll have all your information in the show notes. And I just want to say thank you, because you've really just you've chosen to step fully into your heart, your gifts, your strengths, yourself in a way that is making a difference. It is sparking joy and interest in other people all over the world. And I honor you. It takes something to do that. And it's just been beautiful to be on the journey with you. And I'm really excited to have you as the lead mentor coach, and also just to watch you expand in all areas of life in your business. It's a gift to share you and your inspiration.
Well, thank you so much for being a huge catalyst on my journey. And it's been so amazing just learning from you and connecting with you in so many different ways over the years. So thank you.
All right. For my beautiful listener, if you're not feeling a little bit more inspired right now, go listen again. And I just want to thank you for taking the time and the energy to be here with us and to be part of this community that is all about being your most authentic self, about stepping into your power, your presence, your purpose, your passion, and to really connect and touch base with your intuition, your inner teacher, and what I think of as your higher self, which is your Youest you. So thank you for being part of this conversation. If you are interested to learn more about the Life Designer Coach Academy, it's a certification program. We're starting very soon in March. All the links will be below. You can also go to juliereisler.com/certification. And as always, either way, honored to be on your journey. Love you. And I hope to see you soon.